Okay, on this problem, we have a little bit more complicated because we have a transformation going on here, don't we? So I'm going to move my graph to the right. Where am I going to move it to the right at? Well, I'm going to set 6x minus 8 equal to 0. So that means x would be 8/6, or x is 4/3. So I'm going to cross the x-axis at 4/3. My y-intercept, when x is 0, well, that would be 1/4 times the 5th root of -8. So not very far there, is it? So and I know it's an odd function, so I know my graph looks like that. So now let's do everything we've done. So my domain and range are both -infinity to +infinity. I've already done, here's my x-intercept, here's my y-intercept. It's continuous. Because it's an odd, that's why it's defined for all real numbers. And let me see here. Let's describe the end behavior. As x approaches +infinity, f of x approaches +infinity. As x approaches -infinity, f of x approaches -infinity. Now, did I skip anything there? Seems I put continuous. Yep, we got everything. Now, let's talk about solving radicals. My hint to you is when you solve a radical is get the radical isolated first. You could do this different ways, but I'm going to say get the radical by itself first. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Make that a little bit thinner here. So I get 2x plus 2 equals the square root of 100 minus 2x. Now the inverse operation of square root is squaring. So I'm going to square both sides. Since I square the left side, I'm going to get 4x squared plus 8x plus 4. That will be equal to 100 minus 2x because the square and square root cancel each other out. Since this is a quadratic, I'm going to set it equal to 0. So I'm going to move both my terms to the opposite side. So I'm going to subtract 100 from both sides, and I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So then we're going to get 4x squared plus 10x minus 96 equals 0. At this point, I think I'll factor that. We'll see if I can factor it. So I can factor out a 2, can't I? So I'll get 2 times 2x squared plus 5x minus 48 equals 0. Now, I think I can factor that. So 2x and x. Now I want to get 5, and I'm going to have a positive and a negative. So let's see here. I don't think 1 and 48 will work. I don't think 2 and 24 will work because, 2 won't work. If I go 3 and 16, 3 times 2 is 6. 16 minus 6 is 10. That won't work. 4 and 12. 2 times 4 is 8. And minus, so I don't think this is going to work then. How about 6 and 8? So I get 2 times 6 is 12. Nope. 2 times 8 is 16. Minus 6 is 10. I don't think I can factor this one, at least not in my head. So let's try the British method. So I'm going to factor out, I'm going to go 2. Then I'm going to rewrite. So 2x squared times 48 is negative 96. And I want two numbers that multiply to 96 and add to 5. Or subtract to 5 in this case. So 1 and 96 definitely will not work. 2 and, what is that, 48, that won't work because they're not 5 apart. Let me see, 96 divided by 3. Kind of embarrassing I have to do this. Let me pull up the calculator here. So if we go 96 divided by 3, yep, dang it, divided by 3, I get 32. They are not 5 apart. What if I divide by 4? 4 and 24 are 20 apart. 5 does not go into 96, so let's try 6. 6 and 16 are 10 apart. You see 8. 8 and 12 are 4 apart. That doesn't work either, so I'm going to have to use quadratic formula here. So I'm going to go, just make sure I didn't make a dumb mistake here. 2 times 2 is 4, is 8, yep. Okay, so now x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we're going to say the opposite of 5 plus or minus, we're going to go 25 minus 4 times 2 times 48 times negative 48. All over 2 times 2. So I get 5. I get negative 5 plus or minus. I'll go 25 plus. Let's take 4 times 2, which is 8. 8 times negative 8 times 48. So 8 times 48 gives us 384. All over 2 times 2, which is all over 4. So I got negative 5 plus or minus, and let's go 25 plus 384. Then you get the square root of 409. All over 4. And there's your exact answer.